Next year will be better. Next year I will get in shape. Next year I will start working out more. Next year I will start my business. Next year I will do X. Does this sound familiar? It sounds pretty familiar to me. Most New Year's resolutions just don't stick. They're too unactionable and vague. How about instead of setting random New Year's resolutions, we take a look at our past year and learn from what actually happened as opposed to what might happen in our fantasy dreamland of the future. So this is how to do a yearly review instead of a New Year's resolution. So what you'll need for this is you're gonna need something to write on, like a notepad or a notebook or this nice document I have here. You're gonna need your phone. You're gonna need your calendar, so if you keep that on a written calendar, if you keep it on your computer somewhere. And you're also gonna need your journal if you have your journal or you write a journal. If you don't know me, my name is Zach and I'm a second-year medical student in Philadelphia. I'm in a new setting here because I'm back home in the suburbs for some family time, some family holiday time. But let's get to it. So the first thing I want to do in my yearly review is just get a really general picture for how my last year was. So to do this, I'm going to ask myself 3 questions and write down the answers to these 3 questions. For each of these questions, I will take no longer than 2 minutes. I'm going to set a timer actually for 2 minutes and try and answer these questions. And these 3 questions are highlights. What went well this year? Lows. What didn't go so well this year? And learned. What did you learn this year? But I just have a nice kind of document here and I'm gonna put this in the notes down below, so if you wanna copy this Notion template for your yearly review, feel free. What I'm gonna do for the next 6 minutes, 2 minutes per question, is I'm gonna answer each of these questions. Now I've already done my yearly review and this is just a template for everyone to see. I don't know if I'm that ready or comfortable on the internet yet to share the interworkings of my mind for these different kind of highs, lows, and what I learned. So for example, this year went really well. I might say I started my YouTube channel. I think I became closer with my family. And I also became, I think, a little more comfortable trying to do things that scare me. So for the next part, this year didn't go so well. I might write, I had a few arguments with my friends that I care about. I didn't take enough time to relax. And that's just kind of 2 things. There are other things, but again, I'm not really sure if I'm ready to share those yet. And the next one is this year I learned. So again, 2 minutes, and I would say something like, this year I learned I really enjoy creating something and publishing something, like these YouTube videos. And this doesn't have to be all serious, right? Like the other day I learned that ice is extremely slippery. You would just write this for 2 minutes. You can go over the 2 minutes, that's completely fine. You're just kind of getting a general idea of how last year went and what are the things that are sticking in your mind that define your past year. The next thing I want to do is I like to give every year a name. So for example, this year, the name I give it, it's a little precocious, but what are you gonna do? The year of learning known unknowns, because I kind of learned, okay, there's a lot of things that I want to learn about and I want to get better at. So I need to really delve deep and kind of learn about these things. Speaking of delving deep, we're gonna get into the deep dive here. And this is the part that's gonna take most of your time. This is the part where you're gonna really learn what were the positives of last year, what were the negatives of last year, and how you can start to extract the best things and make a better next year. So now grab your writing document, grab your computer document, your notebook, some people do a big, huge poster sheet where you can write on, and just create one side that says positives and one side that says negatives. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through all our sources of data from the past year and kind of fill in the positives and negatives. And what are our sources of data gonna be? Well, I'll go through them with you, but they're gonna be your calendar, they're gonna be your photos and videos on your phone, and they're gonna be your journal if you have that. So what I like to think about when I wanna label something as a positive, I wanna think what made me feel happy, what got me excited to do, and what after I did it, this is an important one, did I feel good afterwards? I personally struggle to start running, especially on an early, cold morning, but after I come back from starting running, I usually feel better. So that is something that would go in the positive column. And what would go in the negative column? Well, this is a little harder to think about, but what is something that made you feel angry, overly stressed out, or something that just doesn't sit right for you in the last year? This also applies to people too. So if any people or person made you feel kind of miserable, they might go in the negative column. And this doesn't have to be the person as a whole. This could be just kind of an experience or interaction you had with them that might go in the negative column. So we're gonna go through every week of our year, of last year, and add things, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. The first thing we're gonna do is I have an Apple calendar, so I would go to my calendar and go to January. And then I'd look at the first week of January, January 1. What events did I do that week? Okay, I see that I went skiing that week. That was pretty fun. I had a lot of fun doing that with a couple friends, so I'm gonna put that in the positive column. I also remember that this was the new year, and that kind of on New Year's Day, I had an argument with one of my close friends, and it kind of made me feel kind of junky and not too great. And so I'm not gonna put the person in the column, but I'm I'm gonna put the argument in the column because it made me feel kind of bad. And then I'm just gonna go through that every single week. So go through every single week and start adding things to the positive and negative column. And this may take some time, but it's gonna be a great source of data for us to come back to later and really analyze and pick which things make our year better and which things make our year worse. The next thing to do is just grab your phone. So grab your phone, whatever your phone is. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to photos and you're gonna sort your photos by starting in January. So January of last year, start looking at your photos and videos. Again, you're gonna scroll through this. This is actually kind of fun. When I was doing this, it was really fun to kind of revisit old memories and see old pictures and videos, but try and get a feel for kind of how you were feeling when these pictures or videos were taken. And then you can add these things to the positive or negative column. If you have a journal or a daily journal, so I personally write as soon as I wake up 5 minutes in a journal, just anything that's on my mind. See if you can find the first week of the last year. And just again, you don't have to read every single journal entry, but maybe briefly skim over it. See, sometimes when something's a big event or something for me, I'll write it very big in my journal. Like when I got into med school, it took up like 3 pages. I was like, I got into med school. It was great. And those things might pop up for you, and you can put those things into the positive or negative column. This isn't my real list again, but I wrote down a few things so that way you guys could see and kind of get an idea for what I wrote down. My actual list is probably 5 pages long, 5 Notion pages long. So now we're really going to take advantage from this list and really see how we can improve our next year. Read over the positive column first. Is there a theme? Are there certain things popping up here over and over again? Did it feel great after that trip abroad, the camping trip, the yoga class you did? Whatever it did, try and find the things that kind of create the most consistent positive feelings on the list. So for example, if you have exercise on a list and kind of you always have some sort of exercise that's popping up as a good feeling, that might be something that you can look at as a consistently good thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply the 80-20 rule to this list. So usually the 80-20 rule says that kind of 20% of your inputs create out 80% of your outputs. So there's probably 20% or 1/5 of this list that kind of creates most of the positive emotions. Try and go through this and see, okay, I can find this thing seems to be popping up over and over and over again, and this is creating most of kind of my happiness in the last year. And now we're going to take a drastic step. Well, not a real drastic step, but a bigger step than you think, because we're gonna book this thing. We're gonna put this thing that's making us happy in our calendar. So for example, I had a really fun time skiing with my friends. It created a lot of positive and happiness for me. So what I might do is write on my list, okay, I'm gonna do ASAP. I'm gonna book a trip to go skiing with my friends. I'm gonna text them right now. Then I'm gonna put down a deposit. I'm gonna book the hotels. I'm gonna put it in my calendar, because until it's in the calendar, it's not real. Until you put down the money, it's not real. So make it real, because it's important for you, right? You wanna make time for the things that make you happy, and continue to add kind of these top 20% of things to your calendar. Tell your friends, book the flights, book the hotels, put them in the calendar. This is really good also because it kind of seems as the year goes on, we fill up our calendar with tons and tons of things that we have to do kind of as life, right? But if we make the time at the beginning of the year for the things that make us happy, they're gonna be there, and we're not gonna get rid of them because something other comes up, because we've made time, we've put them in the calendar, and we've made them real. The next part is a little less fun and a little more awkward and hard, and we're going to look at the negative list and see kind of what's making our life more difficult. What are the 20% of things in our list that seem to put us down the most, that seem to make us feel the most miserable? Do you have plans or things that are already in your calendar for next year that are a part of this negative list? Can you cancel them? Can you get out of them? If you can get out of these things, get out of them. They're on your negative list. They're the 20% of things that are creating 80% of the bad feelings that you've put down on this list. It's important kind of to you to see if you can get out of these things in any way possible. So what you'll do now is you'll just have a list and have an idea in your mind of the certain things that kind of didn't make you feel good, or the certain people that didn't make you feel good, and you'll know kind of going forward with this year, or maybe just try it for the first month of the new year to try and avoid these things, because these are the things that kind of made you not be the most happy last year. In summary, what are we gonna do? Well, first, we're gonna start really broadly. We're gonna ask ourselves 3 questions and limit the answer to those questions to 2 minutes each. We're gonna ask what went well last year, what didn't go so well last year and what did we learn. Next, we're gonna take a deep dive. We're gonna create a positives column and a negatives column, and we're gonna use our sources of data from last year to fill that column with positives and negatives. So those sources of data are gonna be your photos and videos on your phone, your calendar, and your journal. And this is where the big chunk of the work happens, but also where the big chunk of the gains happen. Finally, we're gonna do an 80-20 smackdown on this list, and we're gonna figure out what are the 20% of the things in the positive column and the negative column that are creating 80% of our happiness and 80% of our sadness. Then from the positive column, we're gonna say, okay, these are the things that are making me feel the best last year. I'm gonna book these things right now. I'm gonna put them in the calendar. I'm gonna contact my friends. I'm gonna put down a deposit because I know these are the things that make me happy. And for the negatives list, we're gonna know what to avoid and what to try and cancel next year if we can. This is just the way I do my yearly review. I kind of adapted it from Tim Ferriss and a couple other people, but I found that this is much better than creating resolutions because it looks at kind of the real data of what you did last year and allows you to learn from this data and kind of make your next year as good as possible. But this isn't the only way to do a yearly review. There are some other yearly reviews that are a good amount longer and they look at every aspect of your life. I will list those kind of different strategies of a yearly review down below because if this one doesn't sit well with you, you can try those ones. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a fantastic new year. See you on the next one.